Good day, everyone across North America. This is Jason Metcalf with Sony's Professional Solutions of America, filling in today for John Garmendi. I would like to welcome you all to another in our series of Tech Tuesday AV Solutions webinars. These webinars were started in response to the COVID crisis so that our customers, resellers, integrators, and consultants can stay informed and up to date on Sony's latest products and solutions. Today's webinar is part of the Application and Technology Focus series during this month of August. Today, we'll be talking and demonstrating Sony's technology offerings for the Office of the Future. A few items of housekeeping. As in previous webinars, there will be an opportunity for Q&A, so please submit your questions via the GoToMeeting question panel. We'll post some links to information referenced during the webinar in the chat panel, so please be on the lookout for those. Also post a link to our YouTube playlist where you can view all of our prior Tech Tuesday webinars, as well as this one, which will be uploaded by the end of the week. Just to note, today we'll be using only the webcam window during the presentation. So if you're not already seeing the title slide, please make sure you're set for viewing the presenter webcam. Joining me today is Kiana Pompa, West Coast Sales Support Engineer, supported by Drew Buttress, our Senior Product Manager for PTZ Cameras and Edge Analytics, as well as Chris Schwartz, our Product Manager for Beamforming Microphone. Take it away, Kiana.
Thank you for the introduction, Jason. So we all know our workplace has changed as we have all been affected by this global pandemic. Here at Sony, we want to let you know that you are not alone. My hope is that you can leave here today with a fresh new idea on how you can make your presentations over video conferencing more immersive and engaging. We have 3 different examples that are applicable whether you are working from home or have plans to return to the office. Today is very exciting because after each scenario, we will have a live demo of the actual example based here in my home office. So without further ado, here is our first scenario. This is for our standard meeting room or personal office where you are virtually hands-free with the help of the beamforming microphone and POV camera. We have also integrated our BRAVIA display for view of the far end. Some key points on each of the components. The SRG-XP1 comes equipped with 102 degrees of viewing, ideal for capturing high quality video using minimal power since it is PoE. But I think what makes this product most compelling is that we have USB 3.0, HDMI, RTMP, RTSP, and an optional NDI-HX license, all built into a single camera. So we'll be definitely compatible to anything that you might be using to transmit your video. Now, with the help of the beamforming mic, we can truly go hands-free, as the audio is transported over IP using Dante protocol. It can be transmitted to all of your favorite video conferencing platforms. The best part is that we have about a 23-foot capture radius, but if that is not enough, you can also combine more IP microphones to capture your entire office space. Lastly, in this scenario is our BRAVIA display for far end viewing. With our new BZ40H line, we can reach a peak brightness of 850 nits. We now support Apple AirPlay and Google Cast on our Android TV platform. We have more information on BRAVIA in our last couple of Tech Tuesday webinars, but I want you to leave here today knowing that you have a 3-year advanced replacement warranty that can be extended for up to 5 years across all of our professional display models. That is our Sony promise. So now let's see the live camera feed. So in this feed, you're looking at our standard 70-degree viewing angle. I'm going to switch over to our SRG-XP1 that has 102 degrees. So here's 1 and 2. Going back to the 102 degrees. I'll also step into frame so you can kind of see it visually. We're also using the IP beamforming mic here, so it'll capture my audio wherever I go across the room. And to give you some kind of dimensions, I am in a 10 by 10 space. Now switch it one more time. So this is, again, 70 degrees. So moving on to scenario 2. So we're using the exact same technology, but now we're enhancing it with the use of our REAC1000 Edge Analytics appliance. This is the brains of the operation. With the help of artificial intelligence, we are able to capture your writing on whiteboards or blackboards in a form of alternate reality, hence making your meetings more engaging and easy to view across all video conferencing platforms. So I know this diagram looks great, but seeing is believing. So again, I'm going to switch over to the live demo. I'm actually doing this on the fly. Jason did mention that this is all via our webcam. So I'm going to switch over to handwriting extraction now. When I click on run, the camera feed will begin extracting my handwriting and will overlay it in front of me. So as I step into frame, we have this form of augmented reality where the handwriting is projected in front of the speaker. And just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to reiterate the line drawing that we had earlier. The brains of the operation, Edge Analytics appliance. You're taking either our SRG-XP1 or any of our PTZ cameras that have an HDMI output into our Edge Analytics appliance. And from here, we're sending it over via video conferencing like you're seeing here today. You can also live stream. So if you're using Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and also when we return back into the office, if we do have a large venue that might still be using a whiteboard, you can also transmit that for ease of viewing for those that are standing in the far end or have a hard time viewing all the way to the front of the room. Additionally, with the help of the IP microphone, we can transmit that audio with our REAC1000 feed. That makes it a full solution. It's definitely a good talking point on the far end when they're seeing this type of presentation. It makes it more engaging, more immersive, and on top of that, easily readable on the far end as well. You can also play with the opacity, meaning if you do have an instructor that might be camera shy and doesn't want to be in the shot, but is still wanting to use the whiteboard, you can actually remove the person from the shot. And now you'll see that it's actually completely opaque, so you don't see me in the shot unless I'm on the side here. And I'll show you how that looks when you erase as well. And also when you write. And I'll take you back to the regular 33% opacity. You can play with that between 0 to 100%. Perfect. So now that you know the second scenario, let's move on to scenario 3, which is probably my favorite. Again, we'll do this all on the fly. So I'm currently setting up. I will show you the scenario. Scenario 3 is actually almost exactly the same as scenario 2 as far as components go. We are still using the Edge Analytics appliance, our beamforming microphone, and our SRG-XP1. but we're using a different license on our Edge Analytics appliance. Again, we did go over Edge Analytics appliance on our past Tech Tuesdays. If you need more information, you can take a look at those videos or reach out to us directly. But we're going to be using the chroma-keyless CG overlay, and what that means is basically we're going to use a green screen without the green screen. Perfect when you have minimal spaces or when you're in your home office and you'd like to make your presentations more professional. You can upload your own PNG files for a background. So say if you're at a station, your home office, you could change the background and then feed in your presentation via HDMI. And this could be live video feeds, it could be PowerPoints, it really doesn't matter. Anything that captures through HDMI can be transmitted as your background. And again, like I said, seeing is believing, so I'll go ahead and set this up right now. So now you should be seeing a studio on the far end. I uploaded my own template, and now I can step into frame, and I can showcase my presentation and make it more immersive with the use of our chroma-keyless CG overlay license. So again, like a green screen, but no need for a green screen anymore, and it makes it pretty compelling on the far end. So with that being said, I'll move on to our Q&A.
Thanks, Kiana. We do have a couple questions from the audience, and just as a reminder, if you do have questions, please feel free to put those into the Q&A window. Irvin asks, is the beamforming microphone Dante enabled?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, great. Greg asks, how many channels of audio does the beamforming mic support?
So we have 2 channels of audio, one for mostly recording, lecture capture, or for video conferencing, which is around a 23-foot radius, but we also have an additional speech reinforcement channel that has around a 7-foot radius, and that does include noise reduction built into that channel. So you can play with either or, but we do recommend the 23-foot radius for video conferencing.
Okay. Nick asks, can you mix a green screen and whiteboard without issue, the presenter being overlaid with the graphic? So I guess without interference between the two.
So 2 different scenarios. So currently right now, our Edge Analytics appliance only supports 1 software at a time. So in this case, you would only run green screen or our handwriting extraction separately, but you could have 2 feeds per se, and you can do like a picture-in-picture solution. Or if you want to get really fancy, you could do 2 Edge Analytics appliance and feed the output of the handwriting into this little quadrant here in video. But yeah, that would be a pretty different scenario.
Got it. So you could kind of daisy chain them, I guess, to where the Q&A slide is now. You could put handwriting extraction.
Yeah, you could. It would be kind of a different play on it, but they do run completely separate. So each appliance can only do 1 thing at a time.
Gotcha. Thank you. Michael asks, are there any plans for Edge Analytics to use zoom as well as pan tilt when presenter tracking?
I'll take that one, Kiana. So
Yeah.
if you use, so one of the applications on the Edge that's, by the way, all 5 applications are separately licensed, and then they're a one-time lifetime license. But we do have an application called Focus Area Cropping, and with that, if you use the dynamic focus area cropping mode, you define, let's to give you a little background. If I'm shooting the front of the room with, say, a 4K camera, and I create a region of interest, we're going to try to scale that region of interest to 1080p. And then what we'll do is EPTZ. So you would be using a fixed camera, like the POV camera, or also the SRG-XP1 box camera. And then we move that region of interest as the speaker moves. And by doing EPTZ, if they come towards the camera, we zoom out. We want to keep them in the same aspect ratio relative to the starting frame. At the moment, there are no plans to add it to the PTZ auto tracking. Right now, it's just primarily pan and a little tilt.
Got it. Thank you, Drew. Mike asks, is the SRG-XP1 POE plus?
Actually, it's PoE, so you don't need to go all the way to PoE plus, but if you connect it to a PoE plus switch, the protocol between the switch and the camera will set it to PoE.
All right, thank you. Dean asks, he's asking about the quality of the recording with the beamforming mic, if it's suitable to record maybe a musical presentation or something like that, you know, considering that the room has also already been treated, you know, for acoustic, you know, work in that room. Maybe Kiana or Chris, you want to take that?
I'll let you take it, Chris.
Okay, thank you. The answer to that is basically you would need to test it. I mean, it really is your ear quality and what you're going to be, what's going to be acceptable to you. So I couldn't really sit here and say, oh, this is acceptable, because you would need to actually put it in play and test it to find out. I hope that's that answer is good for you.
All right, thanks, Chris. Paul asks, what third-party control of the REAC 1000, what third-party control does it support?
I'll take that one, Kiana. So we have an API based on the application, and you would be programming, it could be Crestron, Extron, AMX, so any third-party control system. We do have an API available, free download on our website.
And
right.
let me hop in there. That includes the beamforming mic. We have an API for that as well. And it's just IP commands.
Awesome, thank you both. Gene asks, are you able to capture the whiteboard during a presentation? So for Edge Analytics.
Oh, you mean like actually take a snapshot?
I think
Yeah,
that's what they're asking, yeah.
Yeah, so in that API I just talked about, you have the ability to say put on a Crestron or Extron controller a snapshot button. If you're using the web UI that's built in to the Edge Analytics appliance, there is a snapshot command, and what we do is we save that to a JPEG file, and if you continually take snapshots, they just get added on or appended to the end of the file. So you would be able to capture anything you wanted on the whiteboard, take a snapshot of it through either the API or through the web UI.
All right, thanks, Drew. We got just a few more. Paul asks if you can convert the audio from the beamforming mic to analog. Chris or Kiana? Sorry.
Yeah, I could chime in that question. So definitely yes. Dante does make converters that will convert it to XLR or even convert to USB. So yes, definitely you can do that.
Okay, great. And John asks, what audio processing does the mic perform?
Do you want me to handle that, Kiana? So there's two processing lines, and really, we talked about this earlier. There are two channels with the microphone, one for speech reinforcement and one for clear record. Really, the only difference between those two channels and their processing lines is that on the speech reinforcement, which is channel 1, you have a feedback reducer process that's added. But with both of the channels, you have an auto gain control and you have noise reduction built in as well. One thing I don't know if you guys saw earlier, and we had on a slide but didn't really say anything about, was that we don't provide echo cancellation with the microphone. And typically when you're going to use this in a clear record situation, when you're going to use it for UC or your Teams or your Zoom or whatever, the application itself will have that echo cancellation. So this is why we didn't really provide it. But as you can see, we don't really have any kind of echo issues with it.
Great. I think that's the end of our questions. Thank you, Kiana, and appreciate the presentation. I wanted to thank everyone for attending. Please join us next Tuesday for our presentation on BRAVIA Pro Displays, which is up on screen right now, our media player and signage application. And then the following week, we'll be covering our PTZ camera solutions and Nucleus. Please be aware that when the webinar closes, you will see an exit survey pop up. We do appreciate your feedback so we can continue to improve these presentations. And I just want to thank you again, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.